Good evening. It is 5:30 on April 16th, 2026. We are calling to order the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Board for the Village of Tequesta. Meg, will you take roll call, please?
Of course. Leslie Dasher.
Here.
Teresa Maggio.
Here.
Elizabeth Shower.
Here.
Sherry Ambrose. Here. Jean McEldowney.
Here.
Marie Safiri. Here. Jared Gaylord. Fred Sierra. Thank you.
Thank you. And has everybody had a chance to look over the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
I do have one question. The meeting minutes for January.
We had to make a slight correction based on something the clerk's office caught. What was the
Okay.
correction, Meg?
I think
It
that
was very, sorry, it was very,
It was just a minor technical.
minor
It was a very minor
Yes.
technical
very
detail.
minor.
yes, technical details.
We're just readopting it.
Oh, okay. Okay, we will start with the review of the Planning and Zoning meeting.
Need a motion to approve the agenda.
Oh, yes, we do. I'm sorry, that was,
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the previous meeting minutes for February 2026.
I make a motion to approve those.
I do have a change.
Okay.
Marie and Fred are not listed as attending. Let me find it here.
But they're in the minutes.
For February, I don't see her name.
Don't see your name in February?
I see,
Oh, I just saw that, yeah.
I see Jared's present were. I don't see Marie or
Or
Fred.
Fred.
We can make that adjustment.
Okay.
Okay.
And did we want to do the two meeting minutes together or separately together? Okay, were there any changes that you see for January's meeting minutes?
Yeah.
The only one I see is Jared should be alternate number 2 instead of alternate number 3. Fred is alternate number 3. So if we can just make the change for Jared as alternate number 2.
Okay.
Noted.
Thank you. Okay,
I thought Jared was here before Fred.
well, but he's listed on the January meeting minutes as.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
All right, I'm like, okay, I'm sorry.
It's a question. I wasn't gonna question.
Okay. All right, I will make a motion to approve the minutes for February 19th, 2026 with the corrections that Leslie made, and for the meeting for January 15th with the corrections that Leslie made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. On to agenda item 2, SPM 01-26.
Thank you and good evening, members of the board. We have one application on our agenda today. This is a quasi-judicial application. That being said, if there's anyone present here who plans to provide any testimony regarding application SPM 0126, I need to swear you in at this time. So if you could please raise your right hand.
Whichever one of you is going to talk, just stand up and.
Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury in the laws of the state of Florida to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Very good. I will also ask the board members to provide any ex parte communication disclosures that they may have had with the applicant at this time.
Teresa? No. Does she need to disclose that she lives there?
If you have any,
Well, I'm gonna disclose that I live in Tequesta Gardens, so therefore I have to recuse myself from voting.
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You may proceed with your application.
Meg?
All right, good evening, board members. Thank you for allowing me to present to you Tequesta Gardens. This is a minor site plan modification. Here is the location of Tequesta Gardens. It is located right off of Seabrook. The application has been submitted by the Condominium Association. They are looking to do an aesthetic change. They are going to be changing the color of their trim on the property. It is 18 buildings in all. You can see here in the highlighted area. So the scope of work, they are updating the trim color on the 18 residential buildings. This includes the stairway sides, slab edges, and the entryway signage. Here are the proposed colors. The big change is the Dignity Blue trim and sign color. The main body color is going to stay the same. So it's currently white, and it will move forward with a white color. Here is the existing trim color, it's Shady Knoll. Here is the proposed elevations with Dignity Blue. Today, the board will be applying the following criteria for review: harmony with other buildings, harmony with surroundings, facades, methods of design, inappropriate building styles, garish design, exterior forms, and the use of symbolic colors. Development application met the requirements of 78-334. Hearing was advertised online on April 5th, and public notice signage was posted on site on April 3rd. This proposed modification is aesthetic in nature only, with no changes to the approved use, density, parking, or landscaping. Planning and Zoning Board may approve the request upon determining the application meeting general site plan review. Do you guys have any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
I do want to point out, again, we did talk about the signage. They will be painting the entryway signage. And then I do believe that there are some recreational buildings interior to the site. Any trim work there that is green will be changing to the blue.
Now, what about the entry sign?
It's going to be changing from that knoll green that you see there to the
Oh, to the
Dignity
blue?
Yes.
To that one blue, the Dignity. Is it?
That's my favorite color.
Isn't that beautiful?
Is it?
Oh my gosh, I love that blue.
We can't call it the white complex anymore.
It's really beautiful.
I love, I'm sorry.
We're just talking away, it's beautiful.
Yeah. And these pictures are a lot better than what we got.
Thank you. I'm glad you got them.
Thank you, Meg. And
You're very welcome.
sir, you were going to address the board. If you'll come to the podium and give us your name and address for the record, please.
My home address?
Or business address would be fine.
Okay. Good evening, guys. My name is Eder. I am a representative for MTD. Our office is located in 12296 Wells Road, Coral Springs.
And,
And we are, requesting to change the trim color.
okay,
As I explained, we are just, we're keeping the main color the same and just changing the trim color.
great. Any questions for Eric?
No.
Just one, so the blue, I can't remember the name of the blue paint color on the village building. I assume part of why you chose it was to blend in with all the other village facilities in the area, and then I can't remember what the name of the building is that we're modifying with the door that we had talked about.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
the
annex
door.
building.
So that's the harmony you guys are going for there, I assume?
It's not the exact same color Sherwin-Williams, but it's pretty close to
Pretty
it.
close.
Close.
Okay, thank you.
It'll blend, yeah. Okay, any more questions?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll open the floor to public comment. Okay, closing the floor to public comment. Any other board?
I will make a motion to approve the applicants. All right, I gotta find it, sorry.
Yes, where'd it go?
The application submitted by Tequesta Gardens Condo Association requesting the site plan modification approval to change the existing building trim color within Tequesta Gardens community. I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, so the motion is to approve SPM 01-26. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay. And moving on to item number 3, ordinance number 06-26. And I'll let Dylan do the reading.
Thank you, Chair. I'll read this ordinance by title. This is ordinance number 06-26, an ordinance of the Village Council of the Village of Tequesta, Florida, amending Chapter 66 subdivisions, providing multiple recommended building and building regulation code updates, creating Section 66-31, designating the Community Development Department as the administrative entity responsible for reviewing plat submittals, amending Section 66-321, pre-application procedure to remove obsolete language, creating section 6632 administrative review procedure for plats and replats, amending section 6651 approval procedure to remove obsolete procedure, amending section 6652 procedure following approval to remove obsolete language, amending section 66-71 to clarify that the community development director shall approve administrative plats, amending section 6672 to clarify that the community development director shall approve administrative plats, amending section 6601 to remove the requirement of mayoral signature for administrative plats, amending section 66102 final plat to remove the requirement of mayoral signature for administrative plats, providing that each and every other section and subsection of chapter 66 subdivisions shall remain in full force and effect as previously adopted, providing a conflicts clause, severability clause, authority to codify, effective date, and for other purposes. I will turn it over to our community development director, Jay Hodge.
Sorry, Dylan.
That's okay. Get my best auctioneer impression.
All right. Good evening, Jay Hupsch, Community Development Director, and apologize to you. We've got 3 ordinances. It's a lot to go through and a lot to explain. So I'm going to try to explain these to you and to the public as if you have no knowledge of the subject. So just
Bear with you.
bear with me here. Sit back.
We're gonna
I'll
do
keep
that.
it. I'll keep it relatively quick though.
Okay, we'll sit back.
So this is phase 2 of this broad code update that we're doing. It's partially a mix of just staff changes. It's partially due to state requirements. So it's kind of a combination of things, and also some of it's from our environmental committee. So we've got, I think it's going to be 8 total ordinances. I think we've done maybe 5 or 6. So we've got 2 more coming. And actually, the future ones coming up are pretty lengthy. And then there's also going to be, in all likelihood, a right-of-way ordinance coming.
What?
Right of way, wow.
You haven't heard of the right-of-way ordinance?
Oh.
So the Public Works Director and Utilities Director have been kind of trying to create a right-of-way policy for what people can and cannot plant in the right-of-way. It's been workshopped with our council quite a bit. I think it's going to get workshopped again with council at the end of this month. So it probably won't come to you until this summer, but it's going to be a long one, and there's a lot of public that are going to be providing input on it. So stay tuned. All right, so this one, So what is subdivision code? So subdivision code is a set of regulations that governs how land is divided into lots and developed into neighborhoods. So that's where we look at how, like, the width of streets, where utilities are going, where infrastructure is going, and it ensures that new development is safe, organized, and consistent with our development standards. So in Tequesta and in most cities, you would go through the site plan review process, and we would look at the subdivision code during that. So we'd make sure that the streets within a subdivision meet the minimum sizes, the lots meet minimum sizes, and so on. Once a subdivision is approved through the site plan process, it then goes through the platting process, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And then the question is, what is platting? And that is a legal process of turning a piece of land into officially recognized lots, streets, and easements. So that's where you actually take that site plan and you put it into practice into a recordable document that's done by a surveyor. It's then recorded in the county's records, and that becomes kind of the legal document that governs that property. So easements would be on there, property lines, streets, right-of-way, where certain things are dedicated to. It's really a legal process. It's really also a technical process, right? If everyone's doing everything right, you're doing most of what you're looking at is done in the site plan process, and the platting is just kind of crossing your T's and dotting the I's at the end. We do review it internally. We have a contract surveyor that we use. There's really 2 big surveyors in northern Palm Beach County that everyone uses. So if they use one of them, we use the other one for review. If they use the other one, we use the other one for review. They're both very, very versed in this. So they do a very comprehensive review of plats. And then, here's an example of a plat. So this is an older one. This is in the country club. And it's probably not as technical as a newer plat would look. And then here's Tequesta K. which is multifamily over off Village
Where
Boulevard.
is it?
I can see that it's not advancing, it's the next slide.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm clicking on my own personal computer.
What are we looking at?
Okay.
There's
You?
Okay.
there's the country club plat. Thank you for correcting me before I got too far there. So there's the country club plat, and this is Tequesta K, which is over off Village Boulevard. And so what we're really doing here is changing the code due to some state updates. As I mentioned, we use a contract surveyor to review plats. They then go to village council for final okay. I've actually never seen a plat even have any comments on it, because if there is, someone's made a pretty big mistake. So it's really just kind of, like I said, crossing T's, dotting I's. The state, and I hate to give the state any credit, but this is the one thing they've done that's not that bad. They do a lot of really bad stuff for planning in the state of Florida. This is one that's relatively not too bad. So they've made it so that plats are approved administratively and do not have to go to council for approval. Like I said, it was more of just a procedural thing anyways, so it's kind of streamlining things. And honestly, in some bigger cities like Palm Beach Gardens, where they might have 50 plats coming in for Avenir, it's making it so those don't have to go to their village council. We don't deal with them ever here, so it's really not too big of an issue on our end. So what the ordinance that is in front of you will do, will bring our subdivision regulations into compliance with the state's new requirements, which make plat review administrative. Myself, the community development director, is now the designated administrative authority to approve or deny plat applications. Like I said, I would have been reviewing them anyways, taking them to council just for a final kind of QC check. That process is no longer in place. We'll still have a surveyor kind of look over everything. And like I said, I think it's consistent with our code, and really we kind of have to do this because of state statute, so would recommend approval. Happy to answer any questions.
It's really cleaning it up and making it's streamlined. I hope it's smooth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any questions for Jay?
Jay, if you could go to, it's page 31, well, it says at the bottom, page 2, it's agenda item 3, page 2 of 11. It says supplement 39 update, and page 31 of 105.
Okay.
Okay. And item number C, they struck out for the authorized agent 10 days prior to the next regular council meeting, and you struck it out everywhere else. Is there a particular reason why you did that?
Why we struck out 10 days before the council?
Yeah,
because
and then
since they're now going to be an administrative approval, it won't be going to the village council anymore.
But what about for us?
It won't be going to PZB either.
Oh, it won't.
It's so it's
a whole,
entirely administrative review.
okay, that's where,
Okay.
okay, that
So
answers.
that was my question, to clarify. Are we still recommending? Are we still, we're not.
Okay,
You're not.
so then
Well, we
it does
have
make it a lot easier.
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay.
Sort of.
what do you mean, sort of?
We
Well,
still have to get through
I
site
mean-
plan.
we still would approve.
Well, yeah, but we do, but they would,
The planning part.
You still have to trust your staff too, right?
Yes.
I mean, so I'd like to think that we're okay here. There are some cities where it could cause problems if the staff, if you don't have a qualified surveyor to look at the plats and you don't trust your staff to review them. It could cause issues here. We've dealt with them enough that it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, any more questions for Jay?
no, I mean,
Okay, and opening the floor for public comment. Marie, if you'll give us your name and address for the record, please.
Grace Superi, I live in the country club. This ordinance, so first of all, I do want to clarify, the ordinance is about plats. Yes, I agree that the state law is about plats. but plats show what a subdivision is. And that's actually the big issue here for Tequesta, because you can divide up a lot, or in more pertinently here, consolidate a lot. And there are questions whether consolidation is allowed. However, this ordinance as an ordinance is unnecessary, and you should vote no. The state statute, which is extremely bad, requires only an ordinance or resolution. That's a quote. And the correct choice for Tequesta is a resolution, because those can be more easily repealed. And the resolution needs to say that the community development director is the designated authority to receive, review, and process the plat or replat submission. The benefit of a resolution is that if it's appropriate to repeal the resolution because the state comes to its senses and repeals this law, then only one reading is required to do so, and we can do that in one council meeting. An ordinance requires 2 readings. In the interim, a very bad replat might have to be approved. That would be very bad for Tequesta and entirely avoidable if we choose a resolution now. A few words about the state law at issue. This is a terrible state law because it preempts decision-making regarding subdivision of land that properly belongs with local elected and appointed officials who know their communities best. It should be a local decision to consolidate or subdivide properties, and the state should not have interfered with that local prerogative at the behest of developers. This law poses an existential threat for small coastal villages like Tequesta because it enables the possibility of character-changing development that does not correspond to resident preferences, including massive, oversized development that destroys the character and unique value of the small village. In sum, we should do only the minimum necessary to comply with bad law from the state. Here, because a resolution is possible instead of new code, that is what we should pick. Because if we have a resolution and the state reverses, it will be easier for us to nullify the corresponding resolution. And a resolution is permissible under the state law, and that is the least offensive choice for Tequesta. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, closing the floor to public comment and back to the board for any further comments.
I will make a motion to approve ordinance number 06-26. Recommendation.
I'll second that.
Okay, so there's a motion to recommend approval of ordinance number 06-26.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item number 4, ordinance number 07-26. And Dylan, if you'll read, please.
Chair, ordinance number 07-26 is an ordinance of the Village Council of the Village of Tequesta, Florida, amending Chapter 76 Waterway Control and Chapter 78 Zoning, updating the definition sections of both chapters, amending Section 76-2, providing a definition for boat lifts, amending Section 78-4, adding a definition for accessory dwelling unit, amending the definition of family, amending the definition of fast food restaurant, amending the definition of waiver, providing that each and every other section and subsection of Chapters 76 and 78 shall remain in full force and effect as previously adopted, providing a conflicts clause, severability clause, authority to codify, effective date, and for other purposes. Turn it over to our Community Development Director.
Thank you, Dylan. Jay Hupsch again. Similar introduction to the last one. This one's a little bit smaller, and it's focused mostly on changing definitions in various sections. So the first one is waterway control. It's our kind of where boats and docks and boat structures are located. One of the things our building department, who reviews boat lifts and docks, had mentioned that there's sometimes confusion in enforcing things, and they just wanted to have what a boat lift is defined as, so that there was no ambiguity, and that there weren't people kind of trying to get workarounds with the code. So we just wanted to clarify that definition, and then while we were doing it, we also kind of threw in there just a caveat that you can't do a roofed, covered, or enclosed boat lift as well. So
Okay.
so that's that one. And then in the zoning code, so again, this is kind of part of that larger comprehensive zoning code that we're going to do. The first one is defining what an accessory dwelling unit is. This is a pretty important topic because the state of Florida, for the past 2 legislative sessions, has tried to adopt provision that would require municipalities to approve any accessory dwelling unit. It would be one of the most impactful changes the state's ever made.
Oh my God, yeah.
So your neighbor would be able to come in and put an accessory dwelling unit up on their property. We might be able to create a little bit of zoning standards for them, but they're also trying to prevent that from even happening in parking standards and all the things we would do to limit that. So it could end up creating a real hodgepodge of development and really fundamentally change the character of single family neighborhoods. So we wanted to put this definition in here just so that we have it on the books. Sometimes when the state does laws like that and they try and preempt you, if you have it on your books already, you can be exempt from it. So when the state prohibits vacation rentals for all cities that didn't have a prohibition on vacation rentals. So I used to work in a city where we had that on our books and they can still prevent vacation rentals. But if you didn't have it on your books in like 2011 maybe, you can't do that. So can't hurt to have this in here just as a little bit of an opportunity to play defense.
Guess I'm not doing a mother-in-law house on the back, huh?
Not looking good.
I'm so sorry.
Another one that's kind of come up when we were reviewing that Chipotle project is the definition of a fast food restaurant. Right now, a fast food restaurant and a carry-out restaurant they have very similar definitions. The way that it's written, restaurants like Three Natives and Guacago, the new restaurant, they're really kind of fast casual, but they would be considered a fast food restaurant under our current definition. And some of our zoning districts, you have to get a special exception for those uses. So really, when something like Guacago comes in and changes out tenancy, it's a pretty minor thing. It's a pretty benign request. It'd be pretty onerous to make them go through the special exception process. So this would kind of exempt those type of restaurants from it, but it would also clearly define what a fast food restaurant is. Our council had a lot of questions about the Chipotle, if it has a drive-up lane, is it a fast food restaurant if it's just a walk-up lane or a pickup lane? And so we just want to clarify that anything's considered fast food if it has a drive-through or a walk-up lane. Another thing is noting that waivers are allowed in planned residential districts. That's actually going to be in the next ordinance. But basically, waivers from zoning regulations are not explicitly allowed within planned residential developments. I'll get into it a lot more in the next presentation. But they are allowed in our planned commercial zoning district code. So it's really inconsistent and not consistent with how a lot of cities do it. So we're going to be proposing an addition to that in the next ordinance you'll see. But as part of that, we have to also update the definitions. And then the next one is definition of family. So this is one, when I came here, I was kind of surprised that Tequesta did not have this in the code. Most cities do have it. I was actually kicked out of a house in college because I had too many people in a house.
And
At the time,
you should.
and honestly, I'm kind of glad I was in retrospect. We had 8 people in a house. So, yeah. So at the time I didn't like it, but now as an adult, I think it's a great thing to have because you can really change the character of neighborhoods if you have too many unrelated people living in a neighborhood. So this is kind of a comparison of what nearby cities have. It ranges from anywhere from 4 to 2. 3 is kind of the sweet spot that a lot of places have, and that's probably the most reasonable one. And we've workshopped this with the village council, and I think that's also where they landed. So staff's recommendation and council is 3.
Okay.
And with
Does that
that,
say adults?
that's my
just then?
presentation. Yes.
It doesn't apply to under 18. Dependents.
Under 18, right?
Yeah.
Dependents. Okay, are there any questions for Jay?
No, not on this one. This was very clear.
Yeah, I think I'm, okay, opening the floor to board comment. Marie, if you'll state your name and address for the record again, please.
Maria Superior, I live in the country club. In the current environment where the state still does not allow us to exchange our code in a way that is more restrictive, We should definitely not entertain adding waivers in the planned residential development, because if this addition goes awry and we don't like how it's working out,
Marie,
we
that'll
can't
be the
fix
next.
it. Huh?
That will be the next.
I know, but actually you're
ordinance.
approving it here if you're in this one. So it's in both of them. I'll have to address it both times. So adding the possibility of waivers to the code is not necessary because it is likely to end up being a giveaway to developers, and we should require them to stick to code or seek a variance if that is available to them. Waivers can carry potentially very large costs, especially in the case of PRDs, for the costs to the village in terms of the value of the surrounding neighborhoods, because they'll change the character of the area. And by definition, PRDs are highly impactful developments because they cover at least 3 areas. To see why this is the case, note that developers will likely request waivers to make more intensive uses of space in Tequesta by asking for decreases in setbacks or open space or increasing lot coverage. And we have in fact seen this happen. And it's to the detriment of the village. There's no question about it. None of those outcomes would be good ones. In the current situation where we cannot fix any problems with the waiver ordinance that may arise after we have enacted it, the proposal to add waivers for PRDs should be rejected. Developers should build according to our code. And if they'd like us to consider adding waivers, which I would be happy to endorse, then they should lobby the state to remove the terrible law that makes every development-related change a one-way ratchet against village interests. I would also like to express my thought that we should go with, in the definition of family, with 2. Most of our houses actually don't have parking that would allow 3 people to park in the property and not end up on the street. And I think that's something that we should not impose on our neighbors as well. Thanks.
Thank you. Closing the floor to public comment, board comments. Okay.
I'll make a recommendation to approve ordinance number 0726.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item number 5, ordinance number 08-26.
Thank you, Chair. Ordinance number 08-26 is an ordinance of the Village Council of the Village of Tequesta, Florida, amending Chapter 78 zoning, Article 7, Planned Residential Developments, PRD, creating an entirely new section 78-229 PRD waivers, creating a process for applicants to apply for deviations from PRD requirements so long as certain conditions are met, providing that each and every other section and subsection of Chapter 78 shall remain in full force and effect as previously adopted, providing conflicts clause, severability clause, authority to codify for other purposes, and for an effective date. Thank you.
Okay.
And I'll pass it over to
Thank
Jay
you.
Hupsch.
Jay?
Thank you, Dylan. Jay Hupsch, Community Development Director. Again, same intro as the other ones. This one is focused on planned residential development. How many of you were on the board when the reserve came in? 3 of you. Okay. So the reserve, I believe, is the last planned residential development that came through the village. And a planned residential development is what a lot of other cities call a PUD. Planned unit development, so they're pretty much synonymous. It's a type of zoning or development approach that allows a mix of land uses and flexible design standards to be planned and approved as a single project rather than under strict zoning rules. Its intent is to encourage creative site design, efficient land use, and coordinated development, often resulting in better integration of open space, infrastructure, and compatible uses than would occur under a standard strict zoning code. So a key feature of planned residential developments generally is the flexibility to deviate from strict zoning standards. A lot of times single-family zoning codes were written for lots that were already platted, like the country club. But when you do a new development, you have to build roads, you have to, we have much stronger drainage requirements than they used to have back in, say, the 50s. Open space, things like that, landscape buffers. So allowing some flexibility gives people an opportunity to have some flexibility in design and shift things around on kind of a case-by-case basis. Yep, as noted there, go. I already covered that. So we've historically allowed deviation from code standards and purities, but we've not had a formal waiver process in our code to do so. A good example would be the reserve. So the reserve purity granted waivers for reduced building setbacks, reduced lot coverage, and reduced open space requirements, but there was not really a formal process to review and evaluate those waivers, right? So when we're looking at site plans, we always read that criteria at the end. When a zoning variance comes before you, we've got all the criteria that you specifically look at to evaluate. But we did not really have that in the PRD code, so I don't think it really was at the forefront of the project. But a lot of times in a planned development, that becomes kind of the focus of the review is whether or not the waivers are warranted, and whether or not the overall design or the positives of the development outweigh the need to grant that waiver. As I think I noted in the last presentation, we have a thing called planned commercial developments. So it's the same thing as a PRD just for commercial projects. That has a waiver procedure section, but so we took that and essentially put it into the PRD. So it's just making it consistent with the PCD section. Honestly, it's kind of a glitch in the code to not have it. The village manager and I were kind of surprised that it wasn't in the PRD section. So what we've proposed during the approval process, the waivers would be reviewed during site plan approval. They'll have to provide a written request that justifies why the waiver is warranted and why it should be granted. As with site plans, the PZB would make a recommendation and final approval would be granted by village council. The village council and PZB are not able to grant waivers for additional building height, additional density, concurrency management, and preservation of environmentally sensitive land. And when we're looking at the approval criteria for kind of weighing whether or not one should be approved or not, it doesn't say that every single one of these has to be met, but generally most of them should be met. That's consistency with the comprehensive plan, consistency with the intent of a PRD, supporting the PRD's goals. So really it's kind of a qualitative thing. You're gonna look at a project and a project may provide a lot of open space and say, hey, we would rather provide smaller lots, but provide more green space and open space. They may say, we want to create an innovative design that's more walkable, and we want to have alleys in the back, and we want to have like a one-way alley. They might need a waiver for something like that. And so there's a few different things that really are an improvement, and it's can be a trade-off too. A project that is going to be coming forward to you, possibly it's in review right now, is a PRD, and they have done some community outreach, and the residents that live next to it did not want the houses directly on their property. Right?
You can't have a house directly on.
Directly bordering their property. Fence to fence.
Okay, ordering.
They
Right.
want setbacks.
There'll still be setbacks, but if you have an existing house in a dream world, I think most people would prefer to not be right there. So based on that feedback, they create a design where there's actually roads that are all along the bound. Well, there's a landscape buffer and then roads, and the houses aren't immediately next to those. So they're asking for a waiver. I think they're going to ask for some waivers for certain things, but that's what I think is a positive trade-off that they gave up, so that they could, provide that for the neighbors. So it's really something that the PZB and the council will have to evaluate when a project comes in, right? Is this waiver worth granting? Other criteria would be that it doesn't reduce the minimum standards, that it results from innovative design, kind of like the idea I just gave you, that there are clear public benefits to it, that that it's not just benefiting the property owner, that they're providing adequate buffering and screening, it's not based solely on economic reasons, that it's still compatible with surrounding resources, that it perhaps could be preserving natural resources, right? So if somebody had a wetland, they might preserve the wetland and say, hey, in exchange for preserving this wetland or this special habitat, we want relief somewhere else. So, so those are kind of the approval criteria, and that is my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Jay? Opening the floor to public comment. Name and address again for the record.
Maria Superior, I live in the country club. Again, I object to this waiver process because of the state law. Again, adding waivers is going to increase the pressure from developers to increase intensity. And in all likelihood, that will mean decrease in the amount of open space or setbacks and an increase in lot coverage by buildings and pavement. I would be very interested to know if any of the residents have seen and want a road behind them rather than actual setbacks, or rather than a landscape buffer. This proposal will, in most cases, be used as a back doorway to avoid the code and to allow bigger, more intensive, and more intrusive uses. Because I think that you are likely to approve it, I do have a recommendation in subsection 2, the waiver procedure. It requires that there's compliance with a majority of the criteria listed below. I think that should actually, 3 of those should be moved to become requirements rather than one of the options. And those 3 are F. They request clearly demonstrates the public benefits to be derived. I think that needs to be a requirement. G, sufficient screening and buffering are provided, and I would take out the if required, are provided to screen adjacent uses from adverse impacts caused by the request. I will note that in that case, if screening and buffering was required, we would already be able to require that, and we wouldn't have to give them a waiver, or in this process, we would be able to protect the adjacent uses. And in I should also be required, the request will be compatible with existing and potential land uses adjacent to the development site. It seems to me that the majority language should only apply to the remaining 8 of the criteria, and those 3 should be required of every waiver application. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any, closing the floor to public comment. Further board comments or questions? Okay. Okay.
So make a motion to recommend approval of ordinance number 08-26.
Second.
Okay, so there's a recommendation to approve ordinance number 08-26. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Board. Any further comments or questions?
Yeah, there's a few developments that are kind of in the works. I think I mentioned one, which is the Rude property that's in review right now. I think that's going to be a lengthy review, so I don't think you'll see that one for another few months. We're also working on some environmental issues with that one with the Palm Beach County Environmental Resources Management Department and the DEP. So that one's in the review. The CMEX property actually just submitted recently. They presented a conceptual presentation to Village Council several months back. It's basically a flex office. There's really not much you can do with the narrowness of the property. So flex office would be, it'd be like half indoor storage and half office spaces. So, for kind of like, I don't want to call it light industrial, but I'd say like a building contractor that wants to, have some trucks, keep everything indoors, but also have an office component of it. Those type of uses. So that's in review right now. That one might actually be quicker than the Rude property, so you can see that one in the next few months.
I have a question about
yes.
the Rude property.
Yeah.
Were they able to remove all of the oil and gasoline
They have
and the
approval.
fertilizer?
They have been granted approval from DEP for petroleum removal. There's still an arsenic evaluation happening over there. So they're actively working with DEP on that one still, and that's what we're working with Palm Beach County's environmental resources to make sure that everything's being done right, and I need to actually talk to Dylan and Keith to find out if we can even take
Woke
that.
'em up.
Yeah. If we can take that, even take it forward to PZB, if that issue is still kind of floating out there, so.
The issue that stopped the other people from the memory care facility they were gonna put there.
It was,
And
it was the nursing home.
Yeah, well, it was memory care, it wasn't skilled nursing home, but it's same thing. And that was the whole issue, was the
That was an issue. There's
environmental.
Yeah.
there was some partnership issues, I think, with one of the old partners in that group. I think that also.
Because that's very expensive to remove all of that.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. So that one may be coming forward, and then also I know the community's talking a little bit about it. I'm sure Jeannie knows what I'm talking about, which is 250, 300 Beach Road, the condos that were approved there. They did not sell well, so a different development group is now looking at combining both properties and doing one larger project. They've been doing some outreach to the Beach Road Association and the condos near there, and preliminary outreach to the village council, and they may be coming forward with a conceptual presentation in the next couple months. It won't get to PZB for a long, long time, but that's kind of out there. So
Okay, and then I do have one.
Is that allowed?
What? To combine them? To combine
To-
approved, I guess.
I mean, that would be a massive.
Yeah, it's big.
So you can technically propose any combination of lots that you want. And like we learned today with the plat process, the site plan comes first. So they would have to go through their site plan approval process first. And then if that happens, then platting would be dealt with. But it would just go through the normal site plan review process where we would be able to apply all of our standard criteria that you look at with site plans.
And are you still using the conceptual things that we had approved, like before you came on board with, you know?
Oh, the beach road is the beach road design guidelines are in place.
Still have our Booker Homes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. So they would have to kind of follow the beach road design guidelines, and meet all of our site plan review criteria of where
but-
compatibility is a factor there. So that's up to the PZB and council and community to determine.
Interesting.
An interesting one.
I do have one quick question, maybe for Dylan. Who types up these? Maybe need a spell checker?
I'm terrified to admit that is me who types those up. And I actually already noted the typographical errors.
One. I just,
Not my proudest ordinance
just
title.
thought I would point that out, so.
I was cringing as I was reading it.
Yeah, I wondered if you noticed that.
I think I perhaps hit my head somewhere that day I was writing that. So my apologies
It's
to the board.
unusual, that's why I was a little surprised. So just thought maybe a better spell checker or something, so.
Well, sometimes you don't like spell checker, it gives you the wrong word.
Ruins, yeah.
It really does.
Okay, so
Very
is there
careful.
Any other board
Might have
comment?
been.
Oh, Marie?
Yeah.
No, we're done with public comment. No. No. If we're, no, so we're done with all the items.
Well, it's on the agenda.
Well, we never do, we never.
It's up to the board.
What would you like to say,
Chair's
Marie?
discretion.
Yeah, actually, I have something Ray Superi, I live in the country club. The plating that you approved, exactly as the beach road issue. To that point, they're arguing that they can consolidate under this rule. Yeah. Actually, the statute does not say that. The statute involves subdivision. Subdivisions are different from plats.
Yes, that's
okay.
correct.
Again, but they're making a different argument that I don't think you've explored. What they are arguing is not that they can divide up the lot, they're arguing that they can combine them. That is not what the state statute says by its terms. And I realize there are differing opinions on what that means. However, we should be holding them to the state statute. and we should not be just giving them things that they are not entitled
We have
to
we
under
have to
state
wait
law.
till they come forward and ask for it.
Okay, I'm not actually saying that. I'm not making an argument one way or the other on how you should decide. I'm saying that as a legal matter, we need to be reading the statute correctly. And I'm not really saying this to you. I do need to, I would like this on the record for the council members as well.
Okay.
So that they understand.
And I
that
think it
that's the
should
rule.
be on the record, and I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you, Marie.
And for the record, Keith Davis has provided an opinion about combination of lots. Marie is correct that the new subdivision code is not related to that, because somebody, without this even happening, somebody can combine their lots currently without going through the subdivision process. That's how the code's written. That's how most cities' codes are written. I can send out, if the PZB wants, I can send out kind of his legal opinion on that.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I think it would be.
Yeah, it would
so.
be helpful, for sure.
Send it out.
Okay. It's always interesting with them. This new everything coming up. We need to be prepared.
It's
Then we can say
Complicated.
no. No, I'm kidding.
We rarely say no, but when we say no, we
We
say
mean
no.
no.
We all say no.
If it's objectionable, that objection.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, and we are adjourned.
Jay, I don't need that anymore. Thank
Everybody.
Thank you.
you. Who has that?